What happens when one of country music's most respected voices collides with a morning show host who refuses to let go of controversy? This is the story of the explosive Today Show interview that ended with Chris Stapleton walking off set, leaving millions stunned and sparking headlines across the entertainment world. This wasn't a routine promo gone wrong. It was a clash of values: artistic integrity versus relentless journalism. Stapleton came in expecting to talk about his new album and tour. Instead, within minutes, the tone shifted. "Chris, thanks for joining us. Your new record's climbing the charts," the host began. "But I have to ask, what about the controversy that's been trending online?" Stapleton's shoulders tensed. "I'm here to talk about the music," he said firmly. But the host pressed harder. "Surely you know your platform comes with responsibility. Fans want to hear where you stand on real issues." "My responsibility is to my family and my songs," Stapleton replied. "Music speaks louder than politics." The host leaned in. "Interesting. Your song Broken Promises, those lyrics sound political. Are you saying that wasn't intentional?" Stapleton exhaled slowly. "Every song comes from a personal place. Listeners can interpret it how they want. But I'm not here to decode lyrics for a political debate." Still, the questions escalated. "With everything happening in this country, don't you feel obligated to use your voice for more than just entertainment?" "My voice is in the music," Stapleton shot back, his tone sharpening. "I'm not a politician. I'm a songwriter." The exchange grew tense. "Your fans deserve to know. Are you supporting this administration or not?" Silence filled the studio. Stapleton's jaw tightened. "We agreed this interview was about the album. I came here in good faith, not to be ambushed." "Ambushed?" the host countered. "These are fair questions. You can't just hide behind your songs." Stapleton's hands gripped the chair. "I'm not hiding. I'm refusing to turn this into a circus." "So you don't care about your fans' concerns?" "That's selfish, Chris." His voice rose. "Don't put words in my mouth. Caring about issues is not the same as turning every conversation into politics." The host didn't flinch. "But silence is complicity, isn't it?" Stapleton stood abruptly, his mic rattling. "This interview is over. I won't be lectured by someone chasing headlines." As he walked away, the host called out, "So you're just leaving when things get tough? That's the message to your fans." Stapleton turned back, his voice low and cutting. "The message is simple. I won't play games for television ratings. My fans deserve truth in my music, not a sound bite for your agenda." The studio froze. Crew members exchanged nervous glances. The host, sensing drama, pushed one last time. "So your fans don't deserve to know where you really stand on the future of this country?" Stapleton's eyes burned. "They already do. Every song I've written is my answer. If you listened to the music instead of fishing for headlines, you'd know exactly where I stand." But for the host, that wasn't enough. In today's world, artists need to be explicit. The host pressed. "Your vague references aren't cutting it." Stapleton's voice cracked with indignation. "Vague. I've written about working families barely scraping by, about communities fractured by hardship, about hope when everything feels lost. How is that vague?" The host smirked, shuffling papers like a weapon. "Then let's look at your own words. Midnight Train to Nowhere. You sing about politicians making promises they never keep, rich men playing games with poor men's lives. That sounds political to me." Stapleton's jaw tightened. "Those lyrics are about universal struggles, not partisan slogans. Real music rises above politics. It speaks to something deeper than this week's headlines." "So your art is above politics?" The host shot back. "That's Navi for someone who's seen as much as you." Stapleton's fists clenched at his sides. "My music is about truth, not politics. Writing about people's pain is not the same as pandering for applause." The host leaned forward, sensing blood. "But isn't staying silent in the face of injustice just another form of privilege?" You have millions of fans looking to you, and you're choosing comfort over courage. Stapleton let out a bitter laugh. Comfort. You think this is comfortable, having my integrity dragged on national TV? That's not comfort. That's humiliation. Your integrity, the host countered, is exactly what's in question. Can you really claim to care about working families while refusing to back policies that affect them directly? The accusation hit hard. Stapleton's face went pale, then burned red. You don't know the first thing about what I care about, or the way I choose to make a difference. Then enlighten us, the host demanded. Tell your fans where you stand on healthcare, on immigration, on the economy. Stop hiding behind your guitar. Use this platform for something real. Stapleton's voice cracked like a whip. Everything I do is real. Every lyric, every show, every connection with people who need it. That's meaning. Just because I don't turn my art into a billboard doesn't mean I'm not making a difference. The host leaned back with a smug smile. But art without action is just entertainment, isn't it? At what point do you stop hiding behind your songs and start taking responsibility for your influence? Stapleton stepped closer, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. Don't you dare tell me what responsibility looks like. I've written songs that carried people through their darkest nights. I've raised money for disaster victims, supported veterans, lifted up other artists who had no platform. But none of that matters to you, because I won't hand you a sound bite for your agenda. Those are nice things, Chris, the host said coldly. But they're safe. They don't require you to risk anything. They don't threaten your place in the industry. Safe. Stapleton's voice thundered through the studio. You think it's safe to bare your soul to strangers night after night? To put every flaw, every fear, every truth into a song knowing millions will judge it. That's not safe. It's terrifying. The host didn't flinch. No. What's safe is avoiding positions that alienate fans. What's safe is letting others fight the hard battles while you profit from neutrality. Stapleton's whole body shook, his hands trembling with rage. You have no idea what battles I've fought, what sacrifices I've made for this art. Just because I don't broadcast every political thought doesn't mean I'm hiding. Then prove it, the host pushed. Right here, right now. Tell us where you stand. Stapleton leaned in, voice sharp as broken glass. The only thing I need to prove is that I won't be bullied into betraying my values for your entertainment. The host's expression hardened. Then let's talk values. Is it valuable to stay silent while families are torn apart by policies you could help change? Is it valuable to prioritize career comfort over truth to power? Stapleton's reply was deadly calm. My values aren't a game for your morning show. They're in every note I play, every word I sing, every choice I make about the life I lead. But the host wasn't finished. He shuffled another stack of papers with theatrical precision, his eyes glinting. And that's exactly the problem. Chris, your fans don't want riddles and metaphors anymore. They want leadership. They want someone who will stand up and say what needs to be said. Leadership. Stapleton let out a laugh, flat and humorless. You think leadership is spoon, feeding people easy answers. Real leadership is helping folks find their own strength, their own voice, their own truth. The host leaned in, eyes sharp. That sounds like a cop-out, Chris. Leadership is about taking a stand when it matters, not hiding behind philosophical speeches. I'm not hiding. Stapleton shot back, jaw tight. I'm refusing to let you turn this into a political ambush. There's a difference between real leadership and performative activism for TV ratings. Performative activism. The host's voice rose. Is that what you call using your platform for social good? Is that what you call caring about something bigger than your record sales? Stapleton stepped forward, his presence filling the space between them. Don't you dare question my commitment to social good. I've done more for communities in need through quiet action than you'll ever do through loud rhetoric. quiet action doesn't inspire change. The host fired back. People need bold stands. They need to know their heroes are willing to fight. What's right? Stapleton growled, his voice trembling with restrained fury. Staying true to yourself instead of bending to whatever narrative the media demands this week. The host smirked. So you don't care about voting rights, about healthcare, climate change, the issues shaping the next generation. Stop putting words in my mouth, Stapleton snapped. Of course I care, but caring doesn't mean I have to perform that caring for your cameras. Chris, this isn't performance. It's responsibility. Silence is complicity. Stapleton slammed his hands on the desk, the crack echoing through the studio. The host flinched. Complicity. You want to talk complicity? Let's talk about ambushing me with questions we never agreed on. Let's talk about manipulating this into a spectacle for ratings. I'm trying to get you to be honest, the host retorted, to stop hiding behind a carefully crafted persona. Stapleton's control snapped. His voice roared. This isn't a persona. This is who I am. A songwriter. A musician. Someone who believes art can heal wounds that politics only make deeper. Art doesn't vote, Chris. Art doesn't change laws. It doesn't shield vulnerable people from harmful policies. Art does something more important. Stapleton fired back. It reminds people of their humanity when everything else tries to strip it away. It builds bridges while politicians burn them down. The host rolled his eyes. Poetic. But while you polish verses, people are suffering. You're clinging to artistic purity while the world burns. This isn't about purity. Stapleton's voice cracked, raw with disbelief. It's about authenticity. About refusing to be a puppet for your political theater. My agenda. The host snapped. My agenda is honest answers for your fans. Don't they deserve to know who they're supporting when they buy your music? They're supporting someone who respects them enough to let the music speak. Stapleton shot back. Someone who won't insult their intelligence by pretending complex issues have simple fixes. The host leaned back, lips curling into a smile. Some things are simple. Human decency, treating people with respect. Or is that too political for you? Stapleton's voice dropped, ice cold. Don't you dare imply I lack basic decency because I won't play your game. I'm not implying, the host said smoothly. I'm asking. And you're dodging, with anger, with emotion, with deflection. Deflection. Stapleton laughed bitterly. You ambush me with politics. Question my integrity, insult my character, then call my anger a deflection. No, what you're doing is bad faith. The host pressed harder. What I'm doing is holding you accountable. And what you're doing is hiding from responsibility. My influence is in my music. Stapleton thundered. In the lives touched by my songs. In the souls healed by words you'll never understand because you're too busy chasing headlines. But does art really transcend politics, Chris? Or is that just what you tell yourself to avoid taking harder stands? For the first time, Stapleton's anger shifted, sharpening into something colder. You're right about one thing. Art doesn't transcend everything. It doesn't transcend disrespect. It doesn't transcend manipulation. And it sure as hell doesn't transcend bad faith journalism. The host leaned in, sensing victory. So you admit it. Your artistic idealism is just an excuse to avoid real positions on real issues. Stapleton's voice went calm. Deadly calm. Numb. What I admit is that I was naive to think I could have an honest conversation with someone who never intended to listen. I've been listening, the host insisted. What I've heard is a lot of rambling, but no real answers about where you stand. Stapleton nodded slowly, like a man arriving at clarity. You want concrete answers. Here's one. I stand with artists who refuse to be bullied into political performances by journalists who care more about controversy than truth. That's not an answer. Chris, that's another deflection. Stapleton's eyes locked on him, cold as steel. It's the only answer you're going to get," Stapleton replied, reaching down to unclip his microphone. "Because I'm done pretending this is anything other than an ambush disguised as an interview." The host's eyes widened as he realized what was happening. "Chris, wait. We're not finished here. Your fans are watching. They deserve to hear your complete thoughts on these important issues." "My fans," Stapleton said, pulling the mic pack from his belt, "deserve better than watching me get manipulated by someone who thinks gotcha journalism is the same thing as accountability. So you're just going to walk away?" "Right here, on live television." Stapleton paused, the cord dangling from his hand. "I'm going to do what I should have done the moment you broke your word about what this interview would cover. I'm going to show some self-respect. Self-respect, Chris. This looks like a tantrum. This looks like someone who can't handle tough questions about his responsibilities as a public figure." The accusation froze him in place. Slowly, Stapleton turned back toward the host, his voice cutting like steel. "You want to know about responsibility? Real responsibility is keeping your word. Real responsibility is treating your guests with the respect you promised when you booked them. Real responsibility is journalism that seeks truth instead of manufacturing controversy. I am seeking truth, Chris. The truth about whether you're willing to use your platform for more than just personal profit. Personal profit." Stapleton's voice rose, echoing across the silent studio. "You think this is about profit? I've turned down more lucrative opportunities than you can imagine because they didn't align with my values. I've walked away from deals, from collaborations, from entire career paths, because I refuse to compromise who I am, bum. Then why won't you take a stand here? Because taking a stand and being manipulated into a political soundbite are two completely different things." Stapleton shot back. "Because real conviction doesn't require a television audience to validate it." The host leaned forward desperately. "Chris, think about what you're doing. Think about the message this sends to young artists who look up to you. Are you teaching them to run away when things get difficult?" Stapleton stopped mid-stride, turning one final time. His eyes carried both disappointment and resolve. "I'm teaching them that you don't have to accept disrespect just because someone has a camera and a microphone. I'm teaching them that integrity sometimes means walking away from opportunities that compromise your values. Or you're teaching them that when you can't control the narrative, you take your ball and go home." "No," Stapleton said, his voice now eerily calm. "I'm teaching them the difference between a conversation and an interrogation. I'm teaching them that not every platform deserves your presence, especially ones built on deception." The host realized he was losing control. "Chris, please, let's reset. Let's talk about the music. Isn't that what you wanted?" Stapleton almost smiled, but it was cold hollow. 30 minutes ago, that might have worked. But you've shown your true intentions. You've shown your word means nothing, and that ambush tactics matter more to you than honest dialogue. I was doing my job, asking the questions that needed to be asked. "Your job," Stapleton replied, placing his microphone on the table with deliberate care, "was to honor the agreement we made about this interview. Instead, you chose sensationalism over integrity." The studio had fallen silent. Only the hum of the cameras remained, capturing every second of the unraveling. Crew members stood frozen, unsure whether to intervene or simply let the collapse play out. "This isn't over, Chris. You can't just walk away from legitimate questions about your role in society." Stapleton paused at the edge of the set. He looked back with something that was almost pity. "Watch me." With that, Chris Stapleton walked off the Today Show set, leaving behind a host scrambling to salvage what was left of the interview, and millions of viewers witnessing one of the most dramatic moments in morning television history. The entertainment world would spend weeks dissecting every word, every gesture, every implication of what had just unfolded. but the message was crystal clear. Sometimes walking away is the strongest statement you can make. What did you think about Chris Stapleton's decision to walk off when faced with aggressive questioning about his political views? Was he right to stand his ground? Or should artists be expected to take public stances on political issues? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the moments that define our entertainment landscape.